All right, today we're going to talk about New Tampa. New Tampa is an area on the north side of the city of Tampa in Florida. And it's a beautiful suburb, master planned area, and it might be perfect for you. Stick around. I'm Sam, and welcome to the Living in Tampa, Florida channel. Right here, every single week, we release videos about what it's like to live, work, play, and move to the Tampa, Florida area. If that's something you want to follow along with, make sure you subscribe, hit that little bell so you don't miss any of our new videos. I am also a licensed realtor in the state of Florida, so if you have any real estate specific questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. My phone number and email are right there on the screen. And then down in the description below, there's a link to my calendar so you can just schedule a 30-minute call really easily like that as well. All right, let's get into New Tampa. New Tampa is right on the north side of the city of Tampa. All around Tampa, there's a lot of unincorporated area, and all that really means is that the county governs that area and taxes that area instead of the city. So Tampa kind of has, the actual city of Tampa kind of has this weird shape that goes right up the middle of the map. And in the mid-90s, there was this big battle over this area that was becoming known as New Tampa, 24 square miles right on the north side of town. As this area was starting to grow, people were building houses up there. One of the developers, a big developer, U.S. Homes Corp., which later became known as Lennar, a big home builder, was advocating that the city annex this area. Annex meaning that they make it part of the city instead of just part of the county. Every time I hear the word annex or annexation, I think of the movie Little Giants, because when I was a kid, that was a very popular movie, and my cousins and I loved it. And they had this kind of football team of misfits, and one of their plays was the annexation of Puerto Rico. And I don't know, that's what I think of every time I hear the word annex or annexation. So hopefully you'll get something out of this while I'm battling, thinking about the Little Giants the whole time. So you can see, even though there was a bit of a battle over this annexation, eventually the area was assumed by the city. And the main reason the developer wanted the city to do this is because the city taxes are a little bit higher, and they could help compensate for some of the infrastructure that the developer needed to build the houses that they wanted to build in the area. And then quickly after this area was assumed by the city, it started being built out as a master planned community. And it really is a very thoughtful and interesting area with gated communities and all kinds of neighborhoods in between, golf courses, and all kinds of shopping. So a couple things that are really interesting about this area that we'll get into later. We'll get into kind of some pros and cons, but I want to start with just kind of focusing on the main neighborhood. It's called Tampa Palms. And this is a big neighborhood with all kinds of little communities in it. And you see some of these are gated, some of these are not, some are townhouses, some are single family homes, and you have kind of the whole range of properties here. Starting in the kind of low 300s for maybe some of the smaller houses in this area, all the way up to the low 1 millions. And kind of everything in between, stuff that faces water, stuff that faces golf courses, and a bunch of different options. So this area in general, and then specifically this neighborhood, Tampa Palms, are very often recommended by me for a few different reasons. One, it gives kind of a nice suburban feel that people like. It's easy access to the city, it has good schools in the area, and the CDDs and HOAs are quite a bit lower than some of the new developments. And a lot of those new developments are up in Wesley Chapel or down in Brandon. There are actually even parts of the New Tampa area where the CDD is about to expire or even has expired. First of all, it wasn't quite as expensive to develop those areas back in the late 90s as it is to develop an area now in 2021. So that makes sense for a little bit for the cost. But also, this has been around for a while. This neighborhood has been developed for quite a long time, even though there were a few empty lots that kind of only got built on a few years ago. A lot of the houses were built in the late 90s, early 2000s, kind of before before the most recent financial crisis of 2007 and 8. So even though the fees are a little bit lower, there are still usually those typical fees of HOA and CDD. Not always is there a CDD and not always is there an HOA, but most likely there will be. And HOAs in this area differ a lot. So up in Pebble Creek, which is also kind of part of New Tampa, some of those neighborhoods have, 24-hour manned gates. And that is a different kind of expense for the residents than a typical HOA that maybe isn't gated. Maybe you just have some access to little things and that kind of the typical situation. But also these HOAs have different levels. So I just helped someone purchase a home in the Tampa Palms neighborhood, and their base HOA has a couple things included, and then they can add on things like the tennis courts. They can add on a golf membership for like a discounted rate because they live in the neighborhood, and then it's just managed by their HOA. Where if you don't live in the neighborhood, you can still, be a member at that golf club, but you have to pay a different price. That is a very interesting option for someone that isn't going to take advantage of all of those amenities. And then you get to kind of pick and choose a little bit more, kind of like a cafeteria style, where you grab a little of this and a little bit of that and kind of make your own package. Okay, let's go to the map a little bit and kind of define this area. So just on the south edge of the Tampa Palms and New Tampa area is the University of South Florida, and a lot of the housing that students and faculty live in. And that's not like typical university housing. It's more like neighborhoods and things like that. This area, if you're going to the east, goes all the way over here to Highway 301 into this big wilderness preserve area, up here to Pebble Creek, up here to County Line Road, which is the divider between Hillsborough County and Pasco County. And then all the way over to the west to that intersection of Highway 75 and 275. And then just follow 275 south back down to the university. So we're into the south, you have the university. On the west side, you have Lutz. On the north side, you have Wesley Chapel. And on the east side, you mostly have wilderness and then kind of highways that can take you into the next metro areas. This is a pretty big area with a lot of really interesting natural features and kind of like the typical Florida subdivision, a lot of natural features within these subdivisions as well. You can see even here like just giant chunks of cypress trees right in the middle of these homes, and developers do a pretty good job of maintaining those kind of things around here and gives your neighborhood a lot more of a mature feel. Another interesting easy access thing in the area is Flatwoods Park. Here I went up there and rode my one wheel around a little bit just to kind of give you a feel for what it's like. It is 11 miles of paved trails through this wilderness area, and then a lot of unpaved trails too for like mountain biking and hiking and things like that. so let's get into some of the pros and cons of the new Tampa area. All right, pro number one, it is part of the city of Tampa. That could be a pro or con, hint, hint. But let's think of it as a pro for a second. So your whole area is governed the same way the rest of the city is. You are part of the city that you are connected to, and you're not confused about, who's responsible for anything in terms of your utilities or infrastructure, like you might be in the county areas. Some of those areas are a little confusing to me, and I assume they would be to you as well. Pro number two, there is still potential to buy a home and improve it. And maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't want to improve a home. But if you do want to, like for instance, the one that I just helped someone buy in the Tampa Palms area was a 4-bedroom home, 2,000 square feet. And we bought it for kind of the low 300s. But it needed everything updated. It hadn't been updated since it was built in 1999. And since it was built in 1999, it's very evident that it was that first wave of homes that were built in the area. All right, pro number three, mature landscaping. And not just those clusters that were left forever, but tons and tons of beautiful mature oak trees in these neighborhoods. Has a very, very different feel than some of the newer, brand new neighborhoods up in Land O'Lakes and the Wesley Chapel area, and even down south in Riverview and Brandon. The mature landscaping really kind of sets this area apart, and you feel kind of tucked into these neighborhoods and these communities in a very different way. You don't feel very exposed to the highway or to a lot of shopping or tourist areas. They feel very community-based, very home-centric, and that is a pro for sure. All right, pro number four, the stores are pretty hidden. I mean, even from the road, the Olive Garden looks very nice in terms of like its building, but it also has a lot of landscaping that makes it a little less obvious. And all the stores are like this, even the big box stores like the Publix supermarkets and Lowe's and Home Depot and Walmart, they're all very discreet. And that is really nice. It gives a really nice feel, even from the main road that goes to this area, which is Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. All right, let's get into some of the cons. And I'm gonna use the same list that I use for pros just to kind of show another side of each of these points. Con number one, it is part of the city of Tampa, which means that your taxes are a little bit higher, mainly your sales taxes and property taxes. I mean, I guess those are the only taxes you're thinking of because we don't have state income tax. So yeah, Tampa has a little bit higher taxes in those ways than just the county does. And Hillsborough County and Tampa are higher even than the other counties that make up the area. So you're kind of paying a premium on taxes, especially property taxes, by having a home in Tampa instead of in an unincorporated area of Hillsborough County. All right, number two was that some homes need updating, and a lot of people are not into that. A lot of people want to move into something that is very updated, has a very modern kitchen, has a very, has the pool with the outdoor eating area, and this area is a little behind on some of that. Not that it's impossible to find, but you're more easily going to find those kind of things in newer developments like West Chase, or out into the newer outside developments like in the Brandon area or Wesley Chapel. Number three, mature landscaping. Actually, that's not a con. That's impossible to be a con. Mature landscaping is the best. Number four, hidden stores. If you don't know the area, stuff can be a little hard to find, and you just drive past something and you realize, oh, yeah, that was the thing I was looking for, and then you got to figure out how to turn around on, an 8-lane highway, and those kind of factors can be a little annoying. Things are not very obvious, meaning there's like not many signs up in the air, there's not like billboards and stuff like that. That gives a really nice feel as you're driving through these areas, but if you're looking for something, that can be really frustrating. Overall, I think the new Tampa area is super intriguing as a master plan community that has lower fees and homes that have potential to be updated and have a lot of value added through updates. If that's something you're into, like reach out and let's go see some homes in that area, and we can find something really cool. If you have any questions about the area, please comment down below. If you're a local in the area, let us know why you chose the new Tampa area or why you didn't. That's very interesting. The people that are moving here, people want to hear that local opinion, and this is a great place to share that voice. Again, please don't hesitate to reach out anytime. My phone number and email are right there on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our videos. Thanks for coming by.